we think about the morality of these things, right? What do we think about the idea, Ecotech did a shit ton of work to get to where they are now. They've made this cool fucking light. They're making money off this light. Some other company comes in and rips them off.
Yep.
Right. And rip off is also an interesting word, right? So, I don't mean it necessarily as what this company's doing. The ABC reagents, we got an email from him because I said rip off, but I didn't really mean rip off. But I kind of do mean rip off. It's you've taken somebody else's product and you've made a version of it to sell against their product, right?
Jonas won't get mad. I talked to Jonas about it.
He didn't seem mad, but he was like, he didn't like the word rip off. And I totally understand that. But in a sense, it's somebody else made something. Somebody made something to compete with it just because they could.
Yep.
And the same thing with the pumps and the lights. So what do we think about all that?
Oh, I have very specific feelings about that.
I want to hear them.
You're the guest.
It's thanks. It's going to open the door for other people. So people will potentially come in. People will it may improve access. It may help somebody take that step initially because it seems a little less, right? I mean, if you're going to buy a Trident and you're going to keep using the hell out of that thing, ABC is a great option. If you don't want to pay Neptune for their juice, you can pay ABC for theirs, or now ABC's coming out with a dry product. So now you add your own water because guess what? Your water's way cheaper than Neptune's.
Yep.
And you are given the opportunity to continue doing what you love with the product provided by Neptune that you like. And that's cool, right? That lets people continue to do what they're doing on a budget.
I can totally get my head around that one. That makes complete sense to me.
But that leaves also open a lot of space for user error. So then you're like, then that's what would make me mad if I was Neptune. Then people calling like, my Neptune doesn't work. What are you using? ABC things. And I even bought the powdered one. It's like, dude, and click.
So it comes down to some people aren't smart enough to pull this shit off. Some people should just do it the way that it's intended. Other people who want to explore and do things differently have to be smart enough to be able to support themselves. It's not necessarily an intelligence thing. Maybe it's an experience thing. Maybe it's a tolerance thing. Maybe it's a calibration thing. So maybe smart's not the right word, but too late. I already said it. People have to be smart enough to be able to support themselves if they're going to take those alternative channels.
I would dare say if you're smart enough to get the ABC things in the dry one and do it yourself, if it doesn't work, you're not going to get on the phone with Apex.
Nope, you're not.
Well, crap, I did it wrong. Boom.
Some people are,
and those are maybe the users that shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah, and it puts everyone in a bad light. But those people are eventually going to put everyone in a bad light. No matter whose product they buy, they're gonna complain about it unjustly.
And then it becomes a story that people tell, right? There's one person that it happened to, and then boom, it's a story that doesn't matter, but somehow matters.
Like a J-Bell pump catching on fire that,
right.
Tie it around.
Or somebody breaking into a casino's intranet via a controller.
Was that a thing?
No, not really. No, but that's a story. The stories are unkillable.
They are.
Truth gets murdered on a regular basis in front of us and we giggle about it. Stories live forever.
One must have their own filter to be able to figure it out, right? So look, okay. So knockoffs.
Yes.
I understand that knockoffs make people mad. Knockoffs make product supporters, brand supporters, that kind of thing. It makes them mad for whatever reason. Everything we're using in front of us right now is somebody's knockoff.
Absolutely.
Everything that's around us, right? Somebody knocked that shit off. It's all kind of the same thing. Niche hobby, very few manufacturers, that kind of thing. I get that kind of frustration. To me, and I've had this debate a couple times, I think I always lose, but whatever, I feel good about it. I think that should drive innovation from the legit manufacturers that I can call and ask for help. I think it needs to drive their innovation to make their shit more badass. And then the copiers have to try to figure that out. It's constantly that game. If you get to the point where you don't want to be a badass anymore, where you don't want to innovate and improve, then get the fuck out, because somebody else is coming.
So what do you think about the idea that and it may not be true anymore because the hobby is bigger than it used to be. It's still not as big as people I think it is.
It's tiny, right?
You know, is there enough? Well, clearly there is. I don't even have to finish. I was going to say, is there enough money to drive people to rip off? And clearly the answer is yes, because they're doing it. If the hobby wasn't big enough for them to make a profit somehow, they wouldn't have that Jabotech light.
But this reminds me though of, you know, when I go on like, I don't go on forums, but I see the Facebook, like the Neptune Apex page, and they're like, once a month someone's always going, when is Neptune going to make a Mastertronic, like let me test nitrate and phosphate, you know? And everyone like rolls their eyes because it's like they're not going to do it. Because again, Richard, what you said, it's weird. I think we get lost and we think that this is some huge industry and it's a niche inside of a niche. Like if I'm Neptune and you're making decisions of things to make, and again, the juice is worth the squeeze. Like we have to sell this many units to make up for the R&D for this, and there's already a product out there.
Except I don't know that they're not going to do it. I don't think I've ever said that.
I didn't say you said anything.
Okay, good.
Do they need to do it?
Do they need to do it?
Somebody will buy it.
Oh,
right?
I think a shit ton of people will buy it, right?
And what is a shit ton for our industry?
We don't know numbers like that, but if 10,000 people buy it, which is not a stupid number, that's probably worth making.
And it's got to be a squeezy juicy for Neptune as well, because they then have to position themselves to be able to support that fucking thing.
Right.
And if they don't knock it out of the park right away, that's a 2016 Apex.
Right.
That caused them a lot of heartburn, right?
Right.
But they got on top of it. They don't need that. Like the Sky came out and the Sky just worked. The Sky was the simplest light I have ever connected to the world.
Yeah.
I'm like, boop, bloop, done, making light. It was that easy. That's what they need to do.
There's
right.
another
So that's
thing.
why if they're going to work on a product, they're just going to shut the fuck up until they've got it.
It has to be perfect.
It's got to work.